Hello, Fallen Dragonite here again. Today we are going to be taking a look at another Earthrise figure. Yes, first Astro Train, and now we are looking at Ironworks. Ironworks is a interesting figure because he's not originally a Transformer. He was actually just a Micromaster playset. And yeah, his initial mode is that playset. Has the crane. Looks like some sort of maintenance or refueling station. And of course we have all of these little panels here. Kind of see some molded detail. Almost looks like something I would have with micro machines or something. Sadly, I don't have any of the Earthrise Micro Masters to demonstrate with this, however. And the only Micromaster team I have are the Jets for Siege, and they probably would not work with this. But crane moves left and right, up and down. This rotates. And of course we can move this panel here. We can also take sound barrier here and just clip them on like so to give a little bit of an extra ramp there. And I have Astro Train's trailer in base mode, which I just clip on similarly like so. Give it a bit of an extension there. And yes, all the base formers for Earthrise and Siege do use this clip system. However, I do want to clarify this again because I am still seeing this misconception a little. These clips do not work with Titan's Return or anything from the Prime Wars trilogy. Sad but true. Although there will be 3D printed adapters out there eventually. I did see some prototypes of it already, so there are third-party adapters we can get for this eventually. Anyway, enough about the base mode. We are going to just rip them apart because yes, much like Cog and Six Gun and Brunt, he is a parts former. Much like the weaponizers. And there is one thing I want to point out before we go any further. You may notice that peg up there that the crane was in is at an angle. There is a little bit of room so that if you press it up, you can get it flush on there. But if it's not all the way on there, it's going to be at an angle. Just be aware of that. So let's continue ripping him apart. Like so. And there's all of the pieces. You can also take that off if we wanted. But most modes actually need this to be on. So we're just going to leave it on. So what else can we do with all these pieces? Well, there is a second base mode which was also in the original G1. We can take this little shovel here. Fold it in like that. Fold up this peg. Take these panels, fold them out like so. Almost feels like I'm playing around with a building set. Clip this on here like so. And then pegs into the holes in the bottom of his... Well, you can probably tell these are supposed to be his robot mode feet by now. Next we take this piece, we fold out this section right here. You're supposed to fold out this section, but I'll explain why in a little later, why I fold out the other one. Clip it in there, and fold this down. We take these pieces, combine them like so, which of course makes the gun. Tab it in there, and we put it onto here. And yeah, before I go any further, it's supposed to be pegged into the other side, but this side is a little loose. I don't know why. And of course this is supposed to, this is supposed to peg in to here, but this is a very big issue with this toy because this is not yellow plastic, this is black plastic painted yellow, and the molding and painting actually have made this a lot smaller than it's supposed to be. In fact, a lot of people who've reviewed this toy said they've actually taken an X-Acto knife in there. So as it is now, it will not peg in like it's supposed to. I personally, for now, until I feel more comfortable actually modifying that, just peg it in on the other side. And there is his base mode. His other base mode. Now then, I've seen people try to use Micromasters in here. In vehicle mode they'll fit, but in robot mode they won't. In fact, most of the Micromasters are about sound barrier size, so you can stand behind the gun here, but not really much room up there to stand. Nice little base mode, but the other base mode works a little bit better for the Micromaster gimmick for all the baseformers. Anyway, we'll disassemble him again, rip all this stuff off again, and there is another thing we can do because again, he is much like Cog and all the other weaponizers, as they can be attached as weapons to a transformer. The instructions show him with wheeljack, but I'm going to use my refractor because he's the one who has the ports the closest to wheeljacks, because I've tried this with my Siege Megatron, I've tried this with Nightbird, I've tried this with Astrotrain, and I can't really get it to work too well. So it definitely depends on what transformer you're using, because you're supposed to plug these sections in like that. However, with Astrotrain, there isn't enough space because it would just leave a giant gap with no heel. And with Megatron, it is so far back that you can't flip these panels up over the feet like they're supposed to, like so. So we do the same to the other side, like so, giving him kind of weirdly armored feet. We take this section, fold the peg back. On Wheeljack it would be higher up, but his is kind of low on his back, so he's just got to plug in back there. Next we take this section. This is kind of the stupidest part. Let me see. I believe it's this one we have to fold out, and then we clip this on like so. Come on, get in there. Sometimes this has a little tendency to get stuck. We peg this. No, we can't. That peg's not giving me enough grip there, so we're going to do the other one. Yeah, that one works better. And he has this giant shoulder thing that just looks really awkward and weird. Next we take this and we peg it into his shoulder. I don't know why not the forearm, but it says shoulder. And then we take the crane and we leave the gun on there and we just plug it in right there. Of course, I'm going to have to angle it because it is low on his back. It would be much higher on Wheeljack, but there. There is the armor mode for Ironworks on Refractor. Some works, but this part I just don't really like. Now then, there is one other mode we can do. I'm just going to toss this aside. The tower mode I showed off is a mode that's shown in all the promotion media, but it is not in the instructions for some reason. However, what I'm about to show you is in the instructions, and that is, well, just plug this section together and we have a sort of bridge. Yes, this mode's in the instructions. That tower, which is shown in all the promotional material and a lot of reviewers do, is not in the instructions. Seriously, why this? Why is this in the instructions and not the tower? Is beyond me. Anyway, that is enough of that. We're going to fold these up, rip this apart, and actually get this thing into robot mode. So I'm going to rotate these around, flip out the rest of the leg, like so. This side goes in like so. This side goes in like so, but this side's not going in all the way. I do not know why. Oh wait, this side went in nice. This one was stuck. Yeah, so this connector is very tight. This connector is kind of loose. Anyway, take this, fold out the robot mode head and rotate it around. You got to make sure it snaps in, and you have to snap it out of place and snap it in when you fold it in. Fold this back in, pegs, holes, plug it in like so. We take this panel and holes here, pegs there, and that just fills in the gap in his back. Finally, we take this section here and unfold it, peg it into his side like so. This side, we are going to do this. And there we go. You can, of course, if you want, flip this up like so, but the instructions show you to put it down like that because you're supposed to plug in his gun in his shoulder like that. You can also plug it into his hand, or you can just unplug that part, put that one into his hand, but yeah. There is Ironworks in his robot mode, and he looks like a tough construction bot with the orange and the grays and the blacks and the kind of brownish gray here. Anyway, his head is ball jointed, gets a little up and down, left and right. His shoulders are universal, mostly because they're just pegged in. He's got really deep elbow bend because of the transformation. They are double jointed, although the bicep swivel is a little hindered depending on how you have that elbow bent. This elbow, not so much. And of course, swivel due to the fact that you can unpeg that if you want. There is kind of a waist, but it is this little hinge right here attached to the back, so you can't really get much out of that. Universal hips. You got thigh rotation due to how this is pegged in, and really, really deep knees, which of course, if you unpeg it just a little, you can get some really deep knee bends, and of course, you can break his ankle. But it does feel like there's certain positions it wants to stay in, but ultimately you can get the angles you kind of need. Of course, he has the little pegs for the blast effects, which right there. There's also one. Oh wait, that's just sculpting. There's not one there. There's one right here. Sure, there's two right here. That's about it. There's not really any hole back here, so you can't mount anything on his back, and there's only a 5mm port here, here, and here, as well as in his hand that you can use, so you can't really weaponize him too well, as well as two on his feet, but they're really far back. All in all, Ironworks is a very nice bot. But you're probably not going to be getting him for the bot mode. You're going to be getting him for his base mode, and I've heard a lot of people say they want to buy multiple ones or have bought multiple ones just so they can tinker around with all the pieces and try to make some sort of all sorts of weird amalgamations of different kinds of base forms and vehicle forms, because yeah, this is supposed to be a scoop for a vehicle. So yeah, that is my review of Ironworks. He's a nice figure, but a lot of people are probably going to get multiples of these just to monkey around with it. Anyway, I hope to see you guys again next review. Bye!